Hi everyone! Well, today we're going to build a strawberry kale crate tower, and we're even going to pop a little dwarf tomato on top. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now at this point in the growing season, your garden beds are probably full and you might want to expand your growing space just a little bit. Or you might be growing on a patio or balcony and just want to maximize your growing space. Well, the crate towers are a great way to grow because you can grow up, not out, and grow a lot of food in a little bit of space. Now, I absolutely love fresh strawberries. I know a lot of you do too, and I'm really excited to get more berries planted. So let's head over to where we're going to build the tower and we'll get started. Kids really have a lot of fun with this project too. So grab your kids, head out to the garden, and have some fun together as a family. And don't limit yourself to just planting strawberries or kale in the crate towers. You can plant lettuce or herbs, any number of smaller vegetables. And you can even pop your crate towers by your kitchen door for easy access to your vegetables. So that's a lot of fun. Now, to start the project off with, you're going to need some crates. These crates are really easy to find at Target, Walmart, even on Amazon. And I'm going to stack mine 3 high today. You can also stack it just 2 high. You can go 4 high if you want to, so it really just depends on the growing space. So just customize it to fit the space that you have. Now you're also going to need something to line the crates with so the soil doesn't just run out. Today we're using the Smart Pots crate liners. They just easily pop right in. We're going to cut holes in them for the plants, and they're going to be the perfect liner for our crates. Now the plants are going to grow through the holes in the crate. So what we need to do first is cut some holes in our crate liners so the plants can grow through. So what I found easiest is just to grab a very sharp pair of scissors, turn your crate on its side, and then just cut a small little snip right in the middle of the fabric. Then you want to cut an X. And this will allow room for the plants. So I'm going to cut holes in every other section of the crate here. You can definitely cut more holes if you want to, but I want to allow a little bit more room for the plants to grow. Now I do want to thank Smart Pots for partnering with us on this video. I've grown in Smart Pots for years. Really love growing in them. The aerated fabric really allows great drainage for the plants. Now I've grown strawberries in ground before, and I really never had much luck until I started growing them in the crate towers. They just absolutely love the drainage that the towers provides, and it's really a great way to grow strawberries. So I'm going to cut holes in the second row here. So I've got my holes cut in my crate liners, I've got them all put in my crates, ready for the soil and the plants. Don't want to use your garden soil because it's just too heavy and compact. I know you might be tempted to cut corners with that, but you really don't want to. You want to use a good high quality potting mix. And you guys know I love to use good dirt soil in my garden. And I'm going to use the good dirt potting mix for this project too. So one thing I love about good dirt is it doesn't get compacted. It really retains the moisture, which is super important here in Southern California. So I'm just going to pour some here into this big old tub and pre-moisten it because I've just found that really helps it retain moisture in our hot, dry climate. So I'm adding some water, going to mix it in, and then we'll add the soil to the crates. Now comes the fun part, getting the soil and the plants in. So what I'm going to do is just fill the crate partially with soil. So I'm going to fill it up to this first line of holes that I cut in the crate liner. That way we can poke our plants through as we're filling it with soil. So first I'm going to pop in some blue Scotch curled kale. Now kale is a great green to grow in the summertime. It's very, very heat tolerant. And these are in my heat tolerant green seed collection. I just started them from seed about 3 weeks ago. Popped them in this little 6-pack. So I'm just going to pop these right out here. And we're just going to pop the plant right through the hole in the fabric. And it's going to look so pretty growing out of this crate. Now we're just going to give the crate a little turn and pop some of the red Russian kale on the other side. And there's no hard and fast rule as to how many plants you put in here. I'm going to leave a little bit of room for growth, but if you want to pack them in here, more power to you. This is the red Russian kale, and I love red Russian kale. It's one of the more tender varieties of kale. Look at these red stems. Aren't these beautiful? And we absolutely love kale in smoothies and salads. It is going to be beautiful growing in these crates. So we'll just give the crate another turn and plant everything along the bottom row here. I'm also going to pop some flowers in here to bring in the pollinators. These are the white profusion zinnias. They are absolutely beautiful and really stand up to the heat. So I'm just going to randomly pop some in here. These are an All America Selections variety and a really beautiful flower. I've got white profusions, and I also have some red profusion zinnias. The red and the white are going to make such a beautiful color pop in the garden here. With the kale and the strawberries, they're going to be so pretty. Now what I'm going to do is put another layer of soil and bring it up to the level of the next holes. Now comes the fresh strawberries. I absolutely love fresh strawberries. So we're going to be able to grow everything we need for a smoothie right from this container. We got the kale, we got the strawberries, we're going to have the tomatoes on top, but probably won't put those in our smoothie. So we're just going to pop these strawberries in. I'm going to kind of shake away some of the soil so that they fit through the holes in the fabric. I'm going to pop them right in here. There we go. Now these are the Sequoia variety of strawberries, which are a June-bearing strawberry. Now, if you've ever grown strawberries before, you might be wondering why your strawberries don't produce all year. It's because there's 3 different types: the June-bearing, the ever-bearing, and the day-neutral. These are actually a June-bearing strawberry, which typically produces 1 crop in the early spring or the early summer. But these act actually more like ever-bearing in our mild climate here, and they'll produce for us all summer long and even all winter if we have a mild winter. Strawberries really like temperatures of 85 degrees or under. Once it gets over 85, it's a good idea to cover your crate towers with shade cloth to help them keep producing even in the heat. So we'll just pop some in here. And when you're planting strawberries, you want to make sure that you leave the crown, which is this part here at the bottom of the plant, showing. You don't want to cover that with soil because that will really inhibit the growth. So leave that crown sticking out. Now you can also grow strawberries from seed. I'm actually giving that a try right now, but I just picked up these plants at the garden center. So just use whatever you can find. Now you can see this strawberry plant here is already starting to send out a runner, which is a way that a strawberry plant has to reproduce itself. Now when you're growing strawberries for production and you want the berries, you do want to clip these runners off so that all the energy goes into producing these beautiful little berries. But at the end of the season, it's a great thing to plant these runners for free plants. And I'll show you how to do that later on in the growing season. Now I'm just going to top this crate off with soil. This is actually going to be the bottom crate of my crate tower. And we're going to add drip irrigation in each level of the crates here so that they all get the water that they need. Now I'm going to add drip irrigation here to my crates. I'm just using this 1/4 inch poly tubing. And I have a video on how to install drip irrigation in containers you can go back and watch if you want to know how to do it. But it definitely is the way to go. And I have a whole separate system for my containers because they need watering more often than the rest of my garden. Now one thing I love about the Smart Pots fabric is that it's aerated, and it does allow for really great drainage of these plants. So I'm just going to feed it through the crate here, and then we're going to tie it in to the drip irrigation system in our containers behind us. Now I'm just going to fold the top fabric here over a little bit because we are going to stack these crates. That way the other crates can stack right on top easily. Now that we've got our first crate planted, we're just going to repeat the process with the other 2 crates, and then we'll put our tower together. That's going to be the fun part. So I've got all the crates filled with plants. Doesn't it look pretty? Oh, I just can't wait for these to fill in. Now, this top crate here, I'm gonna pop in one of my favorite dwarf tomatoes, the Tiny Tim tomato. I absolutely love these. And I have one growing right here behind me. They're just about 2 feet tall, so they're perfect for a container. I started these from seed about 3 weeks ago. Just gonna pop one out. And these are in my small space seed collection. So we're just gonna dig a little hole here, pop it right in the top. This tower is just gonna be so pretty with the strawberries, the kale, the red profusion and the white profusion zinnias, and a beautiful little Tiny Tim dwarf tomato growing on top. Now that we have everything planted, we're gonna give them a good watering before we get the tower stacked. So I'm watering them with the Vermistera worm tea, which has the good bacteria and the microbes in it to really help keep the plants healthy. I dumped about a half a cup here in my watering can, and I'm also watering with the Good Dirt plant food, which has the good nitrogen and amino acids, which help promote the blooms and the fruit production. A lot of people ask me whether strawberries aren't producing. Containers need fertilizing more often because the nutrients drain out. So I'm going to fertilize these about once a week or so, and it'll really help keep them producing throughout the growing season. I'm going to soak them down real good, get them off to a good start. And also, different types of strawberries produce at different times of the year, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So I do have a video with more details on that. I'll pop a link in the video description so you can learn more about the ever-bearing, June-bearing, and day-neutral strawberries and what times of year they produce. So now let's get the tower stacked up. It's our bottom tower, our second crate to our tower. It's starting to look like a vertical crate tower here. And our top crate. Wow, it's looking good. Now I'm just going to hook up the drip irrigation so you guys can see how I do that. This 1/4 inch line is tied into my container irrigation here on my deck. And you can see I've got a little T connector here, which I'm just going to connect the drip irrigation from the crates into the water source. And then I'm going to hook these other little supply lines to hook the crates together so all the water flows from here up the crate and waters my crate towers, and it'll help it grow lots of strawberries. Now I have this 3-way connector here. I put one end in the drip irrigation from the second crate. The second end is going to connect the second and third crates with this black supply line. Just wiggle it in place. You can see the supply line doesn't have any drip emitters. The brown drip emitter hose has drip emitters spaced every 6 inches. Put another supply line from the second crate to the first crate, and we are good to go. Well, I just love how the tower looks planted. I cannot wait to see it fill in and grow and produce lots of berries and kale for our smoothies. It's such a great way to grow a lot of food in a little bit of space. I want to thank Smart Pots for partnering with us on this episode, and I also want to thank Good Dirt for supplying the soil. Comment below, let me know if you're going to get a strawberry, kale, crate tower planted, and make sure while you're at it, you pop a little Tiny Tim dwarf tomato in top. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.